Hello Drive Radio fans, John Rush, your host today. My son Richard Rush is behind the camera, and this is the review of the all-new 2016 Honda Civic. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot of things going on with this car. Again, totally new, everything on this car. Nothing is from before to now. They've changed the car completely. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it. So there's several different versions of the Civic. You can buy this car for under $20,000. The car we're driving happens to be the touring model. This car comes in at $27,335. Now, before you guys get all excited about, wow, that's a lot of money for a Civic, as we go through the review, we'll talk about all the things that come standard on this touring model. So, Richard's showing you some of the front end view. This car has got some great, fantastic aerodynamics. Also, some great sound deadening qualities to it. They've tripled up on a lot of the door seals. The hood is now sealed. The windshield is an acoustic windshield to lower the noise inside. It's got underbody panels to actually reduce the noise. Something new for this year also, they've actually put some really nice wheel liners in the back, again, to reduce noise. They've got guards on all of the exhaust, again, to reduce noise. And what I will tell you is when you're driving this car, as we get into the interior portion, we'll talk about it. One thing I'll tell you is it is one of the quietest cars in this segment. In fact, I'm just going to come right out and tell you, it's a quieter car than a lot of cars above this segment. This car works fantastic. This has got the 1.5 liter, make sure I get that right, 1.5 liter turbo engine, 174 horsepower, and believe it or not, I know you're going to find a hard time believing this, with the aerodynamics and everything they've done with this car, 45 miles to the gallon. At one point I was almost at 47 miles to the gallon when I was driving on the highway. This car works fantastic. Let's go take a quick drive. We'll come back, we'll go through the interior, and then I'll give you my opinion of the 2016 Honda Civic. Alright folks, we're going to take a real quick drive, and because it's so cold out, we're going to do this a little bit differently. I'm not going to cover near as much of the interior in the interior portion because we're now on the interior. We're going to take a drive, so we'll just go over a few things now. Again, it is cold and windy here in Colorado. It is February, so it gets that way in Colorado. Real quick, nice sunroof, not super deep, but because of the way the roof lines up, the way the roof lines are made, I should say, they can't make it much deeper than that. So, but you know what? Nice. It's a nice size, works out great, gives good lighting in here. As we go through some of the rest of the interior, one of the things that I want to mention that this car, the touring model, comes standard with, and I made notes so I get all this correctly: collision braking and warning, so forward collision braking and warning, lane keep assist and warning, adaptive cruise control with low speed follow. And then it's got a road departure mitigation system also built into it. Now, that's standard on this touring model. You can get those safety features on any of the other models, all the way down to the lowest model, if you just get the Honda sensing option with the car. So that's all of what it comes with, and most of that is controlled right here in front of us. So there's the lane assist is over here on the side. You press the button there. All of your adaptive cruise control settings are over here. All of your phone settings and what you do there, as far as talking on the phone, CarPlay, all of that is right here. The volume for the radio, it's interesting. You can either push the button and raise the volume up and down, or you can slide your thumb across it and raise the volume up and down, which is kind of a cool feature. And my hands are pretty cold and it's still sensing that. And you'll notice on the dash in front of me, you can actually see the volume bars go up and down according to what I do with my thumb. You can also change through the menu of what you see there on the screen in front of you. Nice gauge layout. They've done a fantastic job, and this car has a tremendous lighting system on it. I really enjoy that. One of the other things that the car's got that I really enjoy is when you turn the turn signal on, and I just hit the button rather than turning the turn signal on, it actually gives you on the right, when you look in the screen, it actually shows you what's on the right side of you out of that camera that Richard showed you earlier on the passenger side mirror. So I can turn that on and off when I'm driving, or if I just turn the right turn signal on, it automatically comes on. So when I go to back up, you're going to see the camera's going to come back on, and it does have the, I should say, can't talk. It has the dynamic grid lines in it, so you can actually see car coming to the left of us. You can also see how close to the curb you're going to get. Again, pretty standard feature anymore on all of that. You actually can also change the view of the camera if you so desire, just by clicking there. There's a down view, there's sort of a shorter angle view, and then the larger wide angle view. So all of that is available as a camera option. I'm going to put it back in park for just a minute and talk about some of the audio system. I'm not going to get into CarPlay. We've done that in some of the other cars that are out there. And CarPlay is becoming more and more prevalent throughout a lot of manufacturers. Is it going to take over everything? I doubt it, because some other manufacturers are heading a different direction. So that really is going to come down to you, what you like. Here's what I'm going to tell you when it comes to CarPlay. I liked it. I enjoyed using it. Would I buy a car strictly because of CarPlay? Absolutely not. If it comes on the car, is it a great added feature? It absolutely is, and it really makes using your iPhone great. The downside to it that I found that I really don't care for, and this is just me talking, you have to plug your phone in to the cord that runs down to the USB slot, which Richard will show real quick. You can set your phone up here, the cord runs through here, and you plug in down below. The downside is every time you exit and enter the car, you've got to plug that in for the CarPlay to actually work. Again, some of you aren't going to think that's a real big deal killer. You know, for somebody like me that's in and out of cars as much as I am, plugging in is really the last thing I want to do. That's just me in particular. But let's do this. Let's take a real quick drive. Okay, one thing I also want to add real quick about CarPlay that Richard just mentioned. We stopped the camera for just a second because he wanted to make sure I mentioned this. CarPlay is being developed right now to where it can be used Bluetooth. So everything I just said is true for today. Down the road, though, it may become a Bluetooth option. But for right now, you do have to hardwire in to use CarPlay. In any of the vehicles that we've ever used, that's what you have to do. So looking through the rest of the interior, again, you can see really, really great apportionments, nice soft touch. They've done a great job with just the lines that run through. The audio system is great. The way everything works, the center stack, you can notice my hands don't have to go very far to touch everything, make everything work. All of the controls, brake hold here, which you can actually push, actually turns the lights on in the back and keeps you in one position. Parking brake is electronic, which again is new for this year. There's so many new features on the 2016 Honda Civic. You really need to go look at the vehicle for yourself. Literally, I studied this car for about an hour, just going through all the different features that are out there. There's no way I can talk about all of this in the review. You really need to get out and check out the car. But I think you can tell real quick, this is a car that I've really fallen in love with. So it's a great car, great value. Let's take a quick drive, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've been criticized in the past for talking too much as we're trying to explain how quiet the car is. So I tell you what, I'm going to shut this real quick, and I'm just going to be quiet for a minute, let you hear how quiet this car is inside. Granted, we're in kind of a neighborhood area. I can't get much above about 30, 35 miles to the gap, 30 to 35 miles an hour, but you can tell even at these speeds, it's a very, very quiet interior. I'm not having to raise my voice to talk to you guys. It's a phenomenal car. Honda, I'll tell you what, you did a great job. I believe you've raised the bar on this, really an entry-level sedan. This car competes with cars that are way above it as far as luxury is concerned. Honda, you've done a fantastic job. I just can't say enough about this. This is a car that you could ask my son. It was a situation where we had a couple of different press cars this past week, and the reality is one of them cost a whole lot more than this car, but I wanted this car to drive the rest of the week, and I gave Richard the other cars because this car works so well. So tell you what, let's go back. We'll go through some of the rest of the interior. We've done a lot of that already, so there's not a lot of it to cover, but we'll go through some of the trunk space, some of those things when we get back, and I'll give you my opinion of the 2016 Honda Civic. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed the drive, and as we always say, you've got to get out, get inside this car for yourself. Don't take our word for it or anybody else's. You have to be the judge because you're going to be the one buying the car, laying the money out on the table for it. So let's get right into the trunk. Before we do that, though, one thing Richard mentioned, and I should have mentioned as we were doing the walk around, the back end of this car, really, it's got just fantastic lines. They've done a great job on this particular car, this model. Spoiler in the rear. By the way, this thing, as far as the room goes, 3.2 cubic feet of extra room inside, 2.6 cubic feet of extra room back here in the trunk. So they've actually made this car a little larger than its predecessor. All right, let's get right into the trunk, and I'll show you how much room we actually have in the rear of the trunk here. And it is very roomy. As I said earlier, an additional 2.6 cubic feet of trunk space. The other thing that's really nice about this car, and you don't see this in all sedans, the rear seat does fold down. So if I pull this out, the seat's going to fold down. I actually had to use that this week to haul a few things around. Seat folds down. Got a nice opening, and it's 60/40 in the rear, so you don't have to fold all of it down to actually have that access in the trunk like you might need depending upon what you're actually hauling. So I'll tell you what, we'll jump around and I'll climb into the back seat and show you how much room's back there. All right, I'm going to climb in the back seat now so you can kind of see what that's like. I'm 5'10". The seat is set for me at 5'10". It does have plenty of room in the front. It will come back further, but as I climb in, you'll notice really, really roomy back seat. I've got an easy 10 inches of room between my knees and the seat in front of me, so this seat, again, could come back further. You'll notice this seat is set to come back farther already. Got much more leg room in the front, and there's still plenty of leg room in the back. Actually has, for the first time in a Civic, You can see here, heated seats, low and high heated. Now, just the lower cushion is heated, not the back, because of the way it folds down. They don't have a back seat cushion, but the bottom seat is heated. Again, nice room back here. The roof on this particular car with the sunroof does dip down a little bit. So some of you that are taller in the back seat, you might notice that it gets a little bit tight back here. But again, plenty of room in this back seat. Very comfortable car. Nice soft apportionments. Leather interior on this touring model. Again, all of this for $27,335. We'll jump into the front seat and show you some of the things that are up front. All right, folks, now we're up front. Again, 2016 Honda Civic. This is the touring model. And again, get out to the dealerships. Look at this vehicle for yourself. Figure out all the different models that are there. Again, this car, high end, really has every option you can get. $27,000. You can get this car for under $20,000 depending upon what equipment you want to actually have on the car, what trims and so on. So as we look through the front seat, again, very nice apportionments in here. They've done a really great job with the leather seating. It looks fantastic. In fact, when my wife, I took her out for Valentine's Day in this car actually, and when we were out driving around in it, she was amazed at the quality and what was in here, and she kept asking me, this is a Civic? I mean, really, when you get in this car, get out and drive it, you're going to actually say the same thing, because the fit, the finish, the quality, the interior noise, the comfort, the power, the way the car works, you're going to be really surprised at how well everything works for the price. Great steering wheel, the way they've laid everything out. We talked about a lot of that during the driving portion, so I won't go over all of that. CarPlay built in, or the Android side of the fence, so the Apple CarPlay is here. Again, talked about a lot of that in the driving portion. Just a phenomenal car. They've done a great job. Let's hop out and I'll just give you my opinion. I'll finish it up. I think you're already going to know where I'm heading with this, but I'll give you my opinion of the 2016 Honda Civic. All right, folks, 2016 Honda Civic, the opinion portion. And I think you could tell just from everything we've talked about throughout this review what my opinion already is. Love this car. In fact, this is going to be one of my top picks for 2016 just because of what they've done. Features, pricing, fuel economy. I mean, you look at this car at 45, 46 miles to the gallon, and no offense, Toyota Prius, but you can look at a Prius that will cost you way more money than this, will get about 5 miles to the gallon more, and doesn't have near the capability as far as interior features, function, luxury, I guess I should say, quietness, and all of that. You will not find any of that in any other cars out there for 45 miles to the gallon. They've done a fantastic job on this car. I'm going to tell you what, it's going to set a bar in this particular class that the other manufacturers are going to have to attain to. So, what are some of the cons on this car? Frankly, I don't have one. This car works great. It's phenomenal. Again, great fuel economy, power. This turbo engine up at our altitude works absolutely fantastic. You know what? Just go out and drive this car for yourself, and I think you'll learn, you'll figure out why Honda and the Civic name has been so great for so many years, and guess what? It's going to get even greater with what they've done with this car. So go check it out at your local Honda dealer. Let them know that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.